Gamers love to rage. There's nothing quite like the feeling of being beaten down to the point of wanting to quit a game and call it the worst game in the world, then overcoming that challenge. Yes! It's a feeling that brings us back over and over again to gaming over every other form of entertainment. And these days, everyone knows if you want a challenging game, just go play a FromSoft title. It's a badge of honor to beat these games, and if you ask for help or you have to use summons, well, you just need to get good and beat it like a real man. Before Miyazaki ascended to godhood and became crowned as the lord of all sweaty, elite Reddit gamers, one game series was known for its brutal difficulty and legendary game design. Ninja Gaiden as a series started all the way back in 1988 as an arcade release. Later that same year, developer and publisher Tecmo released Ninja Gaiden on the NES. The story follows Ryu Hayabusa on his journey to the US to avenge his father's murder. It was groundbreaking for its elaborate story told through cutscenes. We take it for granted now, but cutscenes weren't common back in those days. It has all the things that add to that old school style of difficulty. Enemies infinitely respawn off screen. Every time you get hit, you bounce backwards, causing you to fall down and die over and over again. And you only get a few lives, but you can continue once you run out. Choosing to continue restarts the entire level. Even with unlimited continues, it's a fucking chore to beat the game. 3 games were made for the NES, with the Ancient Ship of Doom released in 1991. The trilogy was later remastered for the Super Nintendo in 1995. And suddenly, the series went dark. In 1996, a fighting arcade game published by Tecmo was released. Dead or Alive was an awkward as fuck early 3D fighting game. I'm not even going to go into the mechanics of that game or to the story of it because, well, I never really played those games. All you need to know is that Dead or Alive was developed by Team Ninja, and Tecmo allowed Team Ninja to include Ryu Hayabusa as one of the main characters. After releasing 3 mainline games for the Dead or Alive series and a couple of spin-offs because Japan, am I right? Team Ninja was given the go-ahead to develop a full Ninja Gaiden game. Released in 2004 for the original Xbox, Ninja Gaiden returned as a character action game. Stop for just a moment and think about how insane of a change the gaming industry underwent in the 15 years between the release of the first Ninja Gaiden on the NES and this reboot. When the first Ninja Gaiden released in 1989, this was the most cutting-edge graphics and gameplay available. A whole new dimension had been unlocked, and controllers had twice as many buttons. For the 2004 reboot, Team Ninja stayed true to what made the original game successful. They kept the jumping on walls, the mysterious Sword of Legend plot, and more than anything, they kept the insane difficulty. The game's director, Tomonobu Itagaki, became well known for his Giga Chad response when testers said that the game was too hard.
At first it was easier, but when the testers said, "This is too difficult," I made it even more difficult.
To highlight the difficulty, Team Ninja hosted a Master Ninja tournament at the Tokyo Game Show in 2004. To qualify for the tournament, players had to upload their karma score after beating the game on hard difficulty. Alright, so the first game in the modern trilogy was released in 2004. At least that was the first time it was released. There are actually 5 different versions of the first Ninja Gaiden game. In 2005, Ninja Gaiden Black was released. It includes the 2 DLC packs from the original release and some additional tweaks. In 2007, the game was handed to another creative director, ported to a new engine, and remade for the PlayStation 3 as Ninja Gaiden Sigma. In 2012, the Sigma Plus version was released for the PlayStation Vita because there was definitely a large enough audience to support that device. And in 2023, a port of the entire modern trilogy was released. Dubbed the Master Collection, it includes the Sigma versions of the first 2 games and the re-released Razor's Edge version of Ninja Gaiden 3. Oh, don't worry, we'll come back to what a shit show the original release of Ninja Gaiden 3 was in a future video. I've got like 15 years of emotions pent up because of that piece of shit. The real reason the Sigma versions were included in the Master Collection isn't because the developers think that they're the best versions of the games. Instead, it's because they actually lost most of the source code for the original and for the Black versions. Now, listen, there are way too many differences between the versions for me to even try to recap them. You can find lists over on the Ninja Gaiden wiki, and you can also find some spirited debates for updates over on Reddit. For simplicity and to keep me from losing my mind, there are really only 4 main differences between Black and Sigma that I want to cover. The first is obviously the graphics improvements, but that's pretty much a given since this is going from the original Xbox to the PlayStation 3. The menus were also updated to be a bit more stylish and modern. Sigma also lets you have this quick menu for scrolling through and using healing items during the combat, but in the Black version, you have to pause and open this menu to do anything. It's really fucking tedious. A third big change is to the order of which you get some of the weapons and items. In the Sigma version, there's a dual katana weapon that wasn't part of the other versions. There's also a sick lightning Nimpo magic scroll that you unlock much earlier in the Black version called the Art of the Indiana. Wait, Indiana. It's supposed to say Art of Inazamu. Why the fuck did it autocorrect to Indiana? And most importantly, Sigma removes puzzle sections and also includes some additional chapters where you play as one of the side characters. These Rachel sections don't add much to the story. Instead, they slow down the pacing. They make you fight in areas you'll experience with Ryu later in the game. So yes, it's more content, but it's also worse content. So does that make it better as a whole? And that's pretty much all I want to talk about for now. As I go through the playthrough, I might talk about some differences between the games, but I don't know them all, and really I just don't want to know them all. Ninja Gaiden Black is available as part of the Xbox's backwards compatibility list, and it's the version I first played back when I was like 11 years old, so that's the version I'm gonna be playing. If you've only ever played the Sigma versions or the Master Collection, you might notice some differences as I go through the game, and let me know in the comments below when you spot a difference. And if you're a Sigma simp, you've probably already flamed me for saying that I'm playing the Black version. Alright, so I'm playing this on normal difficulty, and I know that's going to turn some people away, and I totally expect comments saying that my opinions are invalid for not playing on the harder difficulties, but in Ninja Gaiden Black, you don't get to choose your difficulty. You hit start game and you're dropped right into the game. To unlock the next difficulty option, you have to beat the game. And there are 5 difficulties: normal, hard, very hard, master ninja, and if you suck so bad at the game that you get your ass handed to you 3 times in the first chapter, the game throws you a bone and lets you play on the easiest ninja dog difficulty. In the higher difficulties, there are some additional enemy encounters, and during boss fights, they throw more enemies at you. I also know that there are some things that I'm missing out on, specifically the doppelganger fights. Maybe someday I'll come back to play this on higher difficulties, but for now, I'm just here to re-experience this game for its base offering and provide a little comedic relief along the way. The opening cutscene is metal as fuck.
The evil Dark Dragon Blade, a legendary sword.
The evil Dark Dragon Blade is said to be carved from the bones of a black dragon. It was used to bring death and plague upon the world. Those who wield it are said to turn into the devil incarnate. The dragon lineage sealed it away from the world since the dawn of time. After countless generations, the true power of the Dark Dragon Blade is now unknown to even the dragon lineage. The Hayabusa clan are the descendants of the dragon lineage and are the sworn protectors of another blade, the Dragon Sword. Said to have been used to defeat the Black Dragons, the sword has been passed down through the generations and is now in the hands of Ryu motherfucking Hayabusa. And then we're just thrown right into the action, with Ryu flying through the air to slice the absolute shit out of this unsuspecting ninja. Man, I love games like this that just drop you right into the action without tons of cutscenes. I'm looking at you.
Insert AAA company here.
The camera zooms out and we see Ayane from the Dead or Alive series is watching over Ryu.
She got a great ass!
Making our way up the mountain, Ayane throws a kunai with a flower into the wall. These serve as the tutorials for the game's mechanics. What's great is that you can just skip these if you don't need them. I really wish more games would do this rather than slowing down the action or stopping it altogether. No! Bad dude, stop tutorializing me! As we make our way up, Ryu is ambushed by 2 ninjas. After dispatching them, we make our way to this dead end and learn that Ryu can run up walls and do a sick bird flip to reach high spaces. Some more ninjas attack in the hallway, and we get a chance to try out the triangle jumping. This puts a huge smile on my face every single time I get to do it. It's such a cool homage to the original NES games. After triangle jumping up, we reach the ninja fortress and we're attacked by more ninjas. We cut off their heads and we make our way inside. Inside, we're ambushed by more ninjas, and here is where we learn that the real enemy is the camera. So I decided to just cheese it by running up the wall and performing a heavy attack to downward slash the enemies. And this move is so fucking badass, it's called the helmet splitter. Cheesing this attack, I make quick work of the enemies and I complete the encounter. Around the corner, we find a statue that is missing part of its faceplate and it's holding a key. After a few more ambushes, we kick open a chest to find the lives of the 1,000 gods. Using this item increases Ryu's max HP. In the next room, we're ambushed by a group of ninjas joined by a new enemy type, a white ninja. These ninjas are more aggressive than the other foot soldiers we fought so far. We take them out and make our way to the gap in the wall, but we fall through this trap door that's in the floor, and we're attacked by some bats, and in a chest we find the fangs of the samurai. Making our way back to the samurai statue, we find a chest that contains a talisman of rebirth. If we die, this will trigger to revive us. We make our way back to the statue, insert the fangs, take the key, and head up to the locked door. On the other side of the door, we're ambushed by multiple white ninjas. During the fight, I charge up and I unleash an ultimate attack to go ham on one of the enemies. After the encounter, the exit unlocks and we enter the room to find an enemy with nunchucks waiting for us.
I see you have made it this far.
This boss fight against Mirai is really important for teaching you a few things. Mainly, it teaches you to stay aggressive. If you stay still and you block, Mirai will perform an unblockable grab attack that takes about 40% of your health.
I'm joking! Stop!
It also teaches you the importance of dash attacks and to capitalize on your openings. On my first try, I was able to get Mirai down to about 50% HP and then the cutscene plays. So it turns out Mirai is Ryu's uncle, and this was all part of Ryu's training. Oh man, maybe I shouldn't have cut the heads off of all those ninjas that were helping me with my training. Mirai starts chatting all cryptic and shit about power in the Dark Dragon Blade.
It is a shame that such a sword must go untouched, such power unused.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
Before they can finish their conversation, Ayane's tight ass runs into the room to tell Mirai that the Hayabusa village is under attack. So chapter 2 starts with us backtracking through the fortress, and even with a map, my dumbass rolls a 1 for intuit direction and I get lost trying to find the way out. Finding the path forward, we discover the game's first ninpo, the Art of Fire Wheels. We're attacked by some new ninjas, and with a quick charge of the heavy attack, I slice their heads off in one motion. Making our way through the forest, we do a little bit of parkour, fighting off some more ninjas, and we use the fire wheels for the first time. And then we reach the Hayabusa village. There's this stone that says it can be broken with a heavy blunt object, so obviously we'll come back for that. One thing I really like about this game is that you start off attacking and comboing very slowly, and the speed ramps up throughout the game. By the end of the game, you're rolling and flying and dodging around, but for now, I just kind of suck as I get used to the combat. I end up getting a sick
Triple kill
on these ninjas with a charged strong attack. We find the missing head of this statue, and we're rewarded with a Life of the Gods. Turning in 9 of these will increase our max HP. I find the lunar staff in this pot, and I think maybe this is the blunt object that's needed to smash the rock.
That's not how any of this works.
At the top of the hill, we find this random stone circle. Okay, so this actually confused me a lot because over in Ninja Gaiden 2, which I've played a lot, These circles become portals to trial arenas where you can unlock rewards for beating the trial. I remember pretty vividly that you actually can lock yourself out of being able to do the trials in Ninja Gaiden 2 if you fail to find the item in the early chapter of the game. So everywhere I go, I'm constantly searching side paths to try to find that item that's needed for the trials. But it turns out that there aren't any trials in Ninja Gaiden 1, so I just wasted my fucking time.
Why did I do this to myself?
Making our way into the building, we find Ayane napping. She tells Ryu that there's this dark samurai clad in black armor and tells him not to fight it. Ryu snatches that bitch's bow and leaves her to think about her life choices.
But I'm let's tired.
Again, I'm a fucking dumbass here, and I think that maybe the bow is the blunt object needed to destroy the stone, so I waste my time again. We then find the game's first Muramasa statue. At the statue, we can spend the yellow essence we've been gaining from killing enemies to buy items and upgrades for our weapons. So a little tangent about me, as I already mentioned before, I played Ninja Gaiden Black when I was like 11 years old, and I played Ninja Gaiden 2 at like 14, and I had no idea that Muramasa was a legendary swordsmith from Japan. So for years, everywhere I went and I saw Muramasa in other games, I just thought that they were talking about this old dude. In the shop is a wooden sword, and you're probably thinking the wooden sword is dumb. The wooden sword takes 7 very expensive upgrades, but it becomes probably the strongest weapon in the game, the legendary Unlabored Flawlessness. Now I'm a noob and I don't want to take the time to farm up the essence needed to get all of the upgrades to unlock the Unlabored Flawlessness, so I'm just going to ignore the wooden sword for this playthrough. Outside, we're ambushed by more ninjas with a spellcaster enemy thrown in. Around the corner, we're thrown into an arena with 2 enemies that are on horseback. These guys are really annoying to deal with. One shoots a bow while running around, and the other has a spear that can grab and drag you around the battlefield. The best way to deal with these guys is with the bow, but the aiming controls suck ass. Eventually, I knocked them off their horses and killed the sons of bitches. Pushing on, we reached the Great Bridge and the Chapter 2 boss. This samurai on horseback is flanked by 2 spellcaster adds that respawn. And just one hit away from killing him off, he knocks my health to 0 and makes me burn the Talisman of Rebirth. Killing him rewards us with the technique scroll to learn how to do counterattacks. A cutscene plays showing some lady escaping from a burning building. The dark samurai clad in black stands in the burning building. We see that he has no face behind his mask. He wields the dark dragon blade and cuts Ryu down. Then a falcon flies over Ryu's body and the chapter ends. It's not explained in the game, but the falcon is the symbol of the Hayabusa clan, with falcon of course being Hayabusa in Japanese. Chapter 3 opens with Ryu getting suited up in his fresh new fit. I really like how they did this. In the first 2 chapters, Ryu is wearing standard ninja garb, similar to how he would look in the original NES games, and now with the passage of time, his outfit is more sleek and modern, sort of like how the game has evolved. It's a subtle touch that I appreciate. Mirai explains that his network of ninjas have found that it was Doku who attacked the Hayabusa village, and the Emperor of the Vigor Empire seeks to wield the power of the Dark Dragon Blade. Ryu stows away on an airship headed to Tyron, the capital of the Vigor Empire. The Vigorians intercept the airship and board it to stop Ryu. These dudes with guns and stun batons crash through the window and pick a fight with the wrong ninja. So we make our way through the airship, exploring every room and kicking open everyone's luggage to find more items. We head through this door and the music kicks up. These guys think they've locked me in a room with them, but really, they've locked themselves in with me.
It's just a prank, bro.
Running through the airship, we find another Muramasa shop and unlock an upgrade for our dragon sword. Scrolling through the shop items, we find
太陽のきらめきも月光の聡明も一瞬月の伴奏と変わるその定めを自ら選び貫いていくものカムイ忍者カムイお前はもう死んでいる何
All All right, no cap, this is the best combo in the entire fucking game. No, actually, it's the best combo in all gaming. The Izuna drop is so fucking sick. Ryu launches the enemy up into the air, slashes them, then grabs them to pile drive them head first into the ground. It never gets old. I hope you're ready to see this move a lot. We push through the airship to the bridge. We Izuna drop this guy and he drops the ID card that we need to open the locked door upstairs. We make our way back to the first locked door, and along the way, I remember the best way to get around in these games. Seriously, I hope you don't get annoyed by hearing this sound effect because I'm going to do this throughout the entire game. Through the locked door is a cargo room, and this room is a perfect example of how bad the platforming controls and the camera are in these tight spaces. All of this just to find 2 chests. One containing an elixir of Devil Way, which helps us with restocking our Ninpo magic charges, and the other one is a Talisman of Rebirth. Heading into the middle cabin, I can't help but destroy these crates. I killed these next couple of enemies with a couple of Izuna drops. Making my way across the wire, I jump through a broken window and destroy the power distribution for the airship. Now that the power is out, the locked door in the main cabin is open. Fighting through the airship and landing more Izuna drops, we climb up this ladder, but the hatch is locked. So we drop down and we triangle jump up to a hallway to find the switch to unlock it. Making our way through the hatch, we find ourselves face to face with this fat ass motherfucker that could fit right into a modern AAA inclusive game.
What the hell is even that?
He's actually a pretty easy boss. His melee attacks are pretty slow and you can dodge his gunfire with roll jumps. The main thing to avoid is his grab attack. But it's pretty easy to get in close to him and do a string of quick attacks or to do a 2/ running attack. Once he's dead, he explodes, causing a surge of electricity along the airship. The airship explodes and crashes to the ground.
It almost seemed as if fate had set the stage for the horrible tragedy. A graceful craft sailing serenely to her doom.
Ryu survives the crash and grinds the power lines down into the city. Ayane throws another kunai with a note for Ryu to go to Han's bar to find more clues about Doku's whereabouts. Heading down the hill, we arrive at Twin Serpents Plaza. We'll return here later. Climbing this clock tower, we're ambushed by some more ninjas. These guys will ruin your day with their quick dodges and their explosive shuriken. With a couple of Izuna drops and a little bit of sweat, I take them down, kick open the nearby chest, and find a Spirit of the Devils. These allow you to increase your max Ninpo charges. On a dead ninja around the corner, we find the nunchucks. The nunchucks are faster and they're great for dealing with enemies that need really quick combos and to prevent enemies from swarming you. They're really useful, but I'm a dragon sword purist. I don't want to give up my sweet Izuna drops. We make our way over to this building and we find the shop of Muramasa. The shop has this groovy soundtrack that plays. Here we can turn in the collectible golden scarabs that we've been finding, and Muramasa rewards us with a Life of the Gods. We then buy a map of the capital city and these 2 armlets. Armlets give passive bonuses like more damage or more defense. They make very little difference on the overall game, so I sort of just forget about them and then leave on the one that deals more damage. We're ambushed again by some soldiers and we use our new nunchucks to beat them before switching back to the dragon sword, because I do not want to give up the Izuna drop. Before the fight, this door was closed, so I decided to head back up the clock tower, and I learned the hard way that the enemies will respawn. The ninjas at the top of the building end up making me burn my Talisman of Rebirth. As we progress forward, we're ambushed by more ninjas after rounding this corner. And here I want to pause to point out how the difficulty levels vary. On normal difficulty, like I'm playing now, this enemy encounter is the ninjas, but on the hard difficulty, these enemies are replaced by these more deadly cat fiends. Now this is how difficulty in games should be handled. Make the fights themselves more challenging. Don't just give more HP or make the enemies do more damage. Or do it the way Ninja Gaiden does it, and just do all three. So I take these guys out with a couple of Azuna drops, and instead of triangle jumping up the obvious wall, I get distracted by chat, and I end up backtracking all the way to the start of the level and get lost trying to figure out where to go next.
I'm retarded?
I finally make my way back and triangle jump up to the ledge, make my way forward, and unlock the big door. And we finally make our way to Han's bar.
Do you have the tickets for the party?
No.
I'm sorry, sir, but you're gonna need one to get in.
So we can't get in unless we have a ticket to the party. Luckily, there's a flyer over on the board that says we can get a free ticket if we buy something from Muramasa's shop. So we get to backtrack all the way back to the old man. And get used to backtracking because that's what this game likes to do. On the way, Ayane throws another kunai to tell us that she's hidden a legendary weapon in the area. After some really sick wall runs, we reach the secret area and we collect the windmill shuriken and find this statue. If you aren't familiar, this is the original Xbox prototype design. Since the Sigma versions were made for the PlayStation, they replaced the Xbox logo with this Team Ninja prototype logo instead.
One of the most significant bummers of my lifetime.
So we make our way back over to Muramasa's shop, turn in our scarabs to receive another armlet that we won't use, buy some healing elixirs, get our ticket, and head back to the bar. Heading back to the bar, a cutscene plays of people running from the building. So we didn't need the ticket after all. Well, thanks for wasting my fucking time! In the bar stands a fiend and a woman dressed like a dominatrix. She cuts down the fiend and stares at Ryu with all the soul and emotion that the Xbox is capable of. Outside, she explains that her name is Rachel and that she just killed a fiend. And whoa, whoa, whoa! Now I remember why I like this game so much. They just don't make them like they used to. Well, actually, they do, but only in Japan. I should probably play more Japanese games. Okay, so I wrote this joke in August before Concord even launched, and it's now September, and Sony just announced that Concord is already being shut down and being refunded. So let this be a lesson. If you want to make more money, make more of these and less of these. Rachel says some stuff and then jumps away, and honestly, I don't remember what she was talking about because was anyone paying attention to what she had to say? After she leaves, a stranger danger looking ass dude creeps up behind Ryu.
Don't mind me, I'm just passing by.
Dude, what you mean? Don't mind me, I'm just passing by. Who are you? And why are you eavesdropping on a conversation between a ninja and his dime piece? Gamov acts like Batman and drops off the roof and disappears. So chapter 5 starts out with fighting enemies in the hallways of this building. In the building, there's an arcade cabinet. If you collect all 50 golden scarabs in the game, you can return to this cabinet to play the original Ninja Gaiden arcade version. In the Sigma version, the arcade cabinet was removed. Pushing on, we wall run to reach the platform and get into a fight with some more ninjas. I get way off in my timing and I get grabbed and finally get my first death. After reloading, I realized that I forgot to save. Damn it. After a few minutes, I make my way back to the ninja fight. So we make our way to the drawbridge and need to find a way to lower it. So we head through this door and up this alley to fight some soldiers in close quarters. There's a cracked wall with an orange glow that we can't get through, so we'll just have to come back to this later. Looking around, we find a chest with a Pegasus key, and on the other side, there are some walls that look like I can wall run on, so with a little faith, I jump and I find a golden scarab. After a little backtracking, we use the Pegasus key to open this gate and flip the switch to lower the drawbridge. On the other side of the drawbridge, we run through the city until we reach the side entrance for the monastery. While fighting these soldiers, some fiends show up. And these things are really annoying because you can't use the Izuna drop. I killed the last one by charging my ultimate technique, and a cutscene triggers as it dies. Boob Lady is just sitting up on a wall watching us fight the fiends. Ryu tells her that his strength comes from training and not from a curse in his blood. Rachel explains that her twin sister Alma was cursed and turned into a fiend. Rachel became a hunter to kill Alma. And before they can finish their conversation, a monster attacks and snatches Rachel.
All right, get that ass. Get that ass.
This is the easiest boss fight in the entire game. All you have to do is cut off the two tentacles. Once both are cut off, you can get some free combos in. With the boss dead and Rachel saved, Ayane shows up to say that the Dark Dragon Blade is growing in power. Ryu tells Ayane to take care of Rachel, and Rachel tells Ryu about a hidden path under the monastery that leads to the Emperor's palace. We then see Gamov overseeing the battle, and he's joined by his master, the Dark Disciple. And into the monastery we head. On our way, we face a new fiend enemy type. These are more aggressive than the ninjas, and they can go underground and are better at blocking and dodging. But of course, they're no match for the Izuna drop. Then we arrive at the monastery. Rather than running straight up to the altar, I decide to head off into the side doors and reach the archive. The door locks behind me and another fight breaks out. After taking them out, this gate opens up to a room full of display cases, but before I head there, I notice a balcony that I can wall jump up to. Then I head down and loot the display cases.
Yeah, fuck history.
In one of the cases, I find the incendiary shuriken. I use it to blow a hole in this wall with the orange glow. On the other side of the door, we're in the upper section of the monastery hall. Here, there's some platforming to get some chests. We then enter the monk's room. Here we find a statue of the raptor, deity of sentiment. There's also a safe in the room, and on the monk's desk is a book where the dumbass wrote down the code. It's the 27th day of the 12th month and the directions that you have to turn. All right, small tangent, but maybe they shouldn't have picked a date to be the code, because in the US, we put the month and then the day, but elsewhere in the world, they do the day and then the month. Kind of confusing. So it's either 1227 or it's 2712. And the direction you have to go is left, right, right, left. All right, let's try this again. Left, right, right, left. All right, so maybe I'm just fucking retarded. What's the combo again? 2, 7. 1, 2, left, right, right, left. Finally. And now that the safe's open, we get the Book of Eons. And immediately we're ambushed by more fiends. Making our way back down to the altar, there's another fight with some fiends. We end up taking them out, and then we place the book on the altar to open a secret passage. Through this gate, we enter the corridor of doom. It's time for a little game show. Which of these 3 things do you think is gonna happen? Leave a comment below. Do you think I'll A, fight a gauntlet of enemies, B, run from some Indiana Jones type shit, or C, discover that love was the secret all along? If you guessed right, You win!
What do I win? Nothing!
All right, so this is one of those levels from the old days that thankfully we don't really do that anymore, but it's just really fucking annoying. You have to run at the camera and dodge these spikes in the ground, either by wall running or by jumping over them. It's just so fucking annoying with how little time you get to react. Ugh, this shit can stay in the past. All right, so we're finally through it, and we descend this pit with a giant skeleton in the center. I wonder if there's gonna be a boss fight.
Well, no fucking shit.
Along the way, there's an elevator fight against some fiends, and I finally pull out the lunar staff that I've been upgrading. After the elevator, we find a chest with the Vigorian flail. These have the same moveset as the nunchucks. I'm not really sure how they compare because I've never really used either, except for later in the game. But we'll burn that bridge when we cross it. Fuck! We reach the ritual room with the chalice that we need to move forward, I guess. I hardly ever know what's going on or what I'm doing. I just push forward and kill things. The American way. In the ritual room are these mosquito-looking things. They are pretty fucking annoying, but I just choose to use Ninpo to kill them. After killing the last one, we get a cutscene that shows these centipedes crawling into some skeletons, and the skeletons come back to life.
It's a zombie!
There must be some sort of Japanese legend about centipedes and evil spirits or resurrection or some shit. I just remember in Sekiro, there's a thing with centipedes that bring enemies back to life. I don't know what it is, and I can't be bothered to look it up. These skelly boys are crazy tanky. This fight is in a pretty tight space too, so it's really easy to get swarmed, grabbed, and munched. Add on that there are these archers that stand off in the corners just blasting you, and it's easy to get your blood pressure spiking. And just like that, I get my second death. And I'm not gonna count all of my deaths in this game, because that would just get out of hand. So begins the dreaded run back to the fight. This time I decide to use the Vigorian flail, and I'm able to kill them all and escape with the chalice. And of course, there are more zombies on the other side of the door. Instead of fighting them, I decide to just wall run past them.
Nope.
We then climb out of the pit, place the chalice on the altar, and the skeleton of the bone dragon comes to life. Once again, it's the grab attacks that you gotta avoid, but most of the time it just swings its tail pretty quickly and smacks at you. And this is when I notice that I'm completely out of healing items.
Looks as though you fucked up, eh, partner?
Thankfully, it only takes me one more try to beat it, sending the bone dragon tumbling to the bottom of the pit. Chapter 7 starts with showing that the pit is now open. So we make our way down into the coffin chamber. Investigating the cracked wall, we see that the whole area will flood if the wall collapses. I wonder what's gonna happen. Heading through the door, there's a line of zombie archers. Rather than killing them, I just jump past them and find a Muramasa shop in the next room. At the shop, we turn in the scarabs, and Muramasa gives us another Lives of the Thousand Gods and another Spirit of the Devils. We also upgrade our dragon sword to level 3. And there are no other level ups for the dragon sword between now and basically the end of the game. I really wish they had just thrown in one more upgrade to give us a little bit more power in the mid game. Pushing on, we find a suspension bridge. Oh boy, I wonder if this is gonna fall. In the next room, there are these swinging spiky boys, and you have to shoot an arrow into the lights to show the path, then shoot arrows to slow down the spiky boys. At the end, there's this blue eye that Ryu pushes in, and it opens one of the 2 locks on the door in the pit room. So we roll jump our way back through to the pit and into the red chamber. It's pretty much the same thing except these fucking archers are in the way. I run out of arrows while trying to deal with the archers, and there aren't any more in the room. So I have to make my way all the way back to the blue eye room to grab some and come back. And the fucking archers respawned. Once the archers are dealt with, I'm able to slow down the spike traps and go push the red eye to unlock the door. Through the doors, there's another boss fight against one of the tentacle monsters. I figure out in this one that the flying swallow is the best attack to take out the tentacles and then take out half its health with the first combo. And I can't believe I haven't mentioned this until now, but the flying swallow is one of the best moves in all of Ninja Gaiden. It is a little janky here in Ninja Gaiden Black. Sometimes it just doesn't want to trigger. If you're off by just a little bit, Ryu will end up doing a downward slash rather than doing the flying swallow at the enemy. In Ninja Gaiden 2, you can actually get an upgrade that lets you do multiple flying swallows during the same jump. It's so fucking badass. A couple more flying swallows and I take down the tentacle monster. Easy peasy. Killing it makes a path open up down in the pit, and we're rewarded with a Lives of the Thousand Gods. Heading back over to the pit, we use that new wall that just formed to wall jump our way back up to the throne. On the throne is a Jewel of the Demon Seal. These increase the power of your ninpo. I usually hoard items like this until I feel like I need them, and I never end up using them.
Now, how about this?
I kind of need that. Let's just keep that.
On a dead ninja in the next room, we find a new ninpo for Art of the Ice Storm. Continuing further into the underground Egyptian pyramid, we stumble upon a room with a wall run puzzle. Making sure that this wall run reaches the platform allows us to loot the wolf, deity of wisdom, and the skull key from the pharaoh's tomb. While heading through the tunnel, the cracked wall collapses and floods the area.
Why are you running?
After Ryu is swept into this room, I start hitting buttons and I figure out the swimming controls and realize that you can attack underwater. And fuck, man, there has never been a game that has done underwater combat well. So I swim to this elevator and I find that it takes me back up to the monk's room. I'm immediately jumped by these ninjas again, but once again, Izuna drop comes in clutch. I head back to the altar hall and I jump down and I'm greeted by the entrance of the next boss. This is Alma, Rachel's sister, and man, I got so many questions. Why she got green tentacle hair? Why she got them giant gold ass nipple covers? And why does this bitch have wings on her head?
Now tell me who's the fruit booty!
I get off to a pretty good opener on her by hitting her with the flying swallow to knock her down. She then throws some pillars at me, then I hit her again. She constantly flies around and she's pretty hard to hit. She has this one grab attack that pulls you up into the air and then slams you down. She also has this attack where she just rushes straight at you. She ends up catching me with it and I die. On the way back to the fight, I pass through the monk's room and I decide to check the table again. And it turns out that this dude can't believe that I broke into his safe. So we set a new code, but then he wrote the code down again. So I unlock the safe and I get another Life of the Gods. Back at the altar hall, I realize I only have one great spirit elixir left for this whole fight. Again, I open up with a flying swallow into a combo. I get a sick dodge on her down A and I hit her with another flying swallow. She gets a good grab on me and then hits me with a pillar, forcing me to use my one healing item. After dodging some of her pillars, I land another flying swallow. A lot of this fight is just waiting for openings to hit her with flying swallow. She gets in another grab and somehow I survive. It's just barely enough for me to get in a flying swallow and another combo, but she survives with just one hit left. And with my butt cheeks firmly clenched, I'm able to dodge her throne pillars, and then I land a lucky flying swallow to take her down. Alma's head explodes, destroying the monastery. Then Rachel shows up, but she ends up pussying out on killing her own sister.
I couldn't do it. I can't kill my own sister.
And now the Vigorian military moves into Tyron. Ryu and Rachel talk about the 3 greater fiends that have souls: Doku, Alma, and the one that guards the Emperor. Ryu leaves and Rachel is snuck up on by Doku. Doku says he plans to kill Rachel to use her blood to make Alma even stronger. Then he shrugs off some direct hits from her warhammer.
Lord, please pray for the soul of this bitch and guide my pimp hand and make it strong, Lord, so that she might learn a hole's place. Amen.
Her warhammer bounces across the room, and remember, this happens because I didn't. So now we need to head to the military supply base to disrupt their communications and get them out of the city. So we head back through the city, dealing with soldiers with guns and these APCs that are shooting at us. On the way, we're ambushed a few times.
Not even close, baby.
Approaching the gate, we dodge, roll, jump to avoid these turrets. We get underneath the gate, grab some arrows, and we pick off the gunners. Then a helicopter shows up. We shoot just a couple of arrows at it and it flies off. Okay, maybe I'm just a simpleton, but why would an attack chopper be such a pussy about some arrows? We're then shown a button in the control room that we can shoot to open the gate. Opposite the gate is an open window a couple of stories up in this building. An enemy shoots a rocket at us from it to point us toward the window. Heading through this fence here, we find a Muramasa shop and a way up into the building. And just to point out a small change for the Sigma version, in the Sigma version, they decided to change this chain link fence to a real wall and door, because that matters. In the room, we find the strongbow, and aiming for the button, we open the gate. At the Muramasa shop downstairs, we purchase another weapon, the Dabilaro. But again, I don't use anything other than the Dragon Sword. Heading to the supply base, we're attacked by a couple of turrets and NPCs. We use the strongbow to take out the turret gunners and the turrets that are on the APCs. We grab the warehouse key, and before heading in, we stock up on explosive arrows. Inside the warehouse, these drones are sent out to keep us from platforming across the trains. I pull out my windmill shuriken to deal with them. It takes me like 9 million fucking tries, but I finally make the jumps across, head up to the control room, and grab the keycard. With the keycard, we make our way into this courtyard with a tank. We pull out these APF SDS cores arrows that's... We pull out these APF SDS cores... We pull out these APF SDS... We pull out these APF SDS cores arrows that say they have superb penetration capability. That's like the best I could do. Pull out these fucking arrows that say they have some superb penetration capability. The tank knocks me around and makes me use up most of my healing items, but I take it out pretty easily just standing still and shooting it. And then a second tank rolls out.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Luckily, I have enough healing items and there are enough explosive arrows around to take out the tank. Then I head up the elevator to the upper platform. On the other side of the bridge are some enemies with rocket launchers. That pussy chopper from earlier comes back. You gotta shoot it down with the bow and dodge its gunfire with dodge rolls. Honestly, it's not that hard, it's just annoying because it's so difficult to aim with the bow. I mean, would it have killed them to put in a reticle or like a little dot to show where I'm aiming?
Fuck!
It takes a few tries, but I finally get the aim down and I take it out. We then make our way up to the rooftop, and these soldiers get the better of me and kill me. And then I respawn at the overpass. Wait, did I hit save after I killed the helicopter? Oh god, did I forget to save? These rocket guys just respawned, right? Like, I saved, right? I saved, right? Please don't tell me I have to fight the helo again. Back on the rooftop, we have to shoot arrows at the radar dishes on the tower while dodging the rockets. We take out all the radar dishes and the tower explodes. We then find another Life of the Gods and finally have 9 of them, so I spam them to get the health upgrade. We make our way to the train control room and we steal a train to get back to Dworku. Ryu literally crashes that shit headfirst into another train and then survives the explosion. And now we're in a sewer level. A lot of this level is utter shit, pun intended. There's a ton of fiends and there's a ton of backtracking. I don't want to cover this whole chapter, but the basics are you need to make water flow into the scales so that they balance and open this door. To do it, you have to find these 2 tablets to place into these pedestals to open the reservoirs and release the water. On the way to find a tablet, there's this electric worm mini boss. This boss can easily give you some trouble. You have to jump over its attacks and the window is pretty narrow. It also has this quick grab attack that can of course fuck you over, and it'll sit back and shoot lightning balls at you.
Lightning ball! Lightning ball!
I end up cheesing this boss by just running up the wall, hitting a bird flip and a downward slash over and over again. I take it down and I collect a new ninpo. This one lets you channel and shoot lightning. I'm an absolute sucker for lightning spells, so I upgraded with those 2 Jewel of the Demon Souls that I've been holding on to. I knew it would be good to hoard those. I make my way to the Hall of Balance, kick open the chest, and find the red tablet. We head back and we place the tablet in the pedestal, releasing the water. Now we just gotta find the blue tablet, but first I gotta take out some frustration on these fiends. I head up to the red reservoir and I find the statue of the water spirit. We place the statue on this door to unlock it, then we fall down this hole and we make our way into this cave. The cave collapses behind us and oh no, oh fuck no. Not 2 of these electric cocks. This time there's no wall to cheese, so we just have to master the jumping strats. It really just doesn't go well the first time. Oh, and I don't have any healing items, so I'm just royally fucked. Fuck! I'm just gonna save you all the pain of watching these things push my shit in. I died to them about 8 times and it took me somewhere around 45 minutes to finally take them down. My strat was to just stay really patient and make sure I got in a good jump when one of them was attacking. Then I would use a YY combo to quickly chunk them. Staying patient was probably the hardest part, but in the end I finally killed them. Before I move on too far, I decide to learn from my mistakes from earlier and I double back to hit the save point so I don't have to fight those big floppy fucks again if I happen to die. Heading through the cave, I find another tablet. So I make my way back through the aqueduct to where I think the pedestal's at and I find a Muramasa shop. I finally have enough essence saved up to buy a talisman of rebirth. I head upstairs and I place the blue tablet onto the pedestal to open the blue reservoir. Back in the Hall of Balance, the door is open to this passage. These fiends in this room, they just keep respawning. I don't know if I'm supposed to kill them or what. I'm just getting tired of this shit. And it doesn't help that my controller is fucking ganking me. I finally get a little respite and can interact with this thing, and it says some really cryptic shit that really it just means jump up the walls, downward attack, unless you're a scrub. So I do that to open the door and make my way to the underground sanctuary. Somewhere around here is a sword that I need to find and place into this sword-shaped hole in the ground to open this creepy spider door. So I do a little bit of platforming to make my way to the sword. Placing the sword in the hole spawns a boss. I don't know how to describe this thing. It's like a dragon zombie without wings, and it shoots a laser that explodes.
With frickin' laser beams attached.
It took me 2 tries to beat this dude. Basically, you just gotta stick close to him so he can't laser you. Then you gotta hit him with a flying swallow so he's stunned, and then you can go to town on him. Once he's dead, the door opens up and Ryu spots the Dark Disciple looking down on him from a distant rooftop as the chapter ends. This next section can lick my taint after I take a sideways shit that doesn't come out cleanly. A good chunk of this chapter takes place in the water, so you're just kind of swimming around to find whatever the next thing is that will advance the plot. And honestly, I don't know what's going on anymore anyway. Like 3 hours ago, we fought some demon chick with huge tits, and ever since we've just been kind of doing things to get things, to place them on things, to open doors, to find more things, to place on things, to open more doors. So in the water, there are these fish monsters, because underwater combat is exactly what I want in my action game about ninjas. And this shit just goes on for way too long. Ugh. Thankfully, there's some dead ninja loser that failed his mission and he has a spear gun on his body. The spear gun can shoot underwater and it doesn't have ammo. Eventually, we find these oxygen cylinders, so we don't have to worry about monitoring our oxygen gauge. Oh yeah, I forgot to complain about that earlier. It sucks. There's this winding path to swim through, and at the end we find the silver medallion. The silver medallion gets placed in this wall to open a door. We swim out through the newly opened door and the camera zooms in on this gaping vagina in the ground. So we dive on in and we find that we're in a pit where the bone dragon fell. Okay, so I've been pretty negative for a little while now, but this is actually pretty cool. I like how everything sort of connects together and things have changed based on events that have happened in the story. It makes it feel more like an adventure and not just like a bunch of levels connected by cutscenes. Eventually, we swim back to the area from before and we take the elevator back up to the monk's room. Ugh, not these guys again. Actually, this is pretty refreshing to be fighting ninjas again. For the past, 6 hours, we've been fighting robots and fiends and fish. Oh, and bats. Don't forget the fucking bats. I realized that I left my spear gun equipped, so I'm gonna get cut to pieces if I don't use my ninpo. The lightning ninpo targets and kills all 3 of them in one blast. I then realized that the safe is closed again, and no, there's no way this monk is retarded enough to write down the combo for a 3rd time, right? Right?
This guy is fucking stupid!
This time he stashed a Jewel of the Demon Seal. This platform takes us up to an arena where we fight Doku. This dude is a straight pimp. He's just been carrying Rachel around in one arm for like a couple of hours now. He sees Ryu and he drops her on the ground, and we finally get to face off against Doku.
The failed protector of the Dark Dragon. Must I take your life yet again?
Now you Sigma simps out there are probably a little confused. In Sigma, you can fight Doku in Chapter 2 when he attacks the Hayabusa village. It's one of those fights that you're supposed to lose, but if you're able to beat him, you can unlock the higher difficulty levels in the game. Doku is a royal pain in the ass. He's not annoying or anything like that. He's probably actually one of the best boss fights in the entire game. He's just got a moveset that can mess you up real quick. So he's got this ground pound that you have to jump over. He's also got this dash attack that I was only able to dodge one time when I accidentally jumped. He's got 2 different grab attacks, and for one of them, if he grabs you, he sticks his sword through you and he life steals off it. He's also got this combo attack that's unblockable and it just shreds you. And if you keep your distance, he'll do a KOTOR-esque lightsaber throw. Oh, and he breathes purple fire at you. Occasionally, you'll lock into a clash with Doku and you'll deal some good damage to him if you mash the X button to win. It took me about 6 tries to figure him out and to take him down. As I'm fighting him, I figure, well, if I'm gonna have to stick close to him, I might as well switch to the Fire Wheels Ninpo to get some free damage in. And my main strat is to do some running slash attacks in his openings and dodge out before he can counter. I end up having to use my Talisman of Rebirth, but whatever, that's just what it's here for. Everything is going fine until Doku gets in a grab and knocks me down to 1 HP. Thankfully, I get him into a clash and then I'm able to combo him down.
Where is the Dark Dragon?
It is in the hands of the Holy Vigor Emperor, your true master. You see, young Ryu, you are not so different from us. Those of the dragon lineage like yourself draw their blood from the same ancient deities as the fiends. You, most of all, should know that your true place is at the Emperor's side. My hatred will not be so easily defeated. I will bring about the awakening. Your sister must be quite precious to you.
Awakening.
Later, bitch.
First off, we gotta make sure we grab Doku's sword, the Kitetsu. Apparently, this sword is actually really good. It has a similar moveset to the Dragon Sword and it can lifesteal, but I end up just using the Dragon Sword because I'm a Dragon Sword Andy. Okay, so this room is probably one of the more significant changes between the Sigma and the Black version. Once you pull this lever, the platforms in the room move around. In the Sigma versions, there is an ambush encounter against these weird dinosaur looking ass things. If you have the skill, or rather the fucking patience to kill 50 of them, your reward is a trophy for having no self-control and a Talisman of Rebirth. There's no fight in this room in the Black version. Instead, this is one of those puzzle rooms that they cut out of the Sigma version. For the puzzle, there are a couple of levers throughout the room, and every time you pull a lever, the platforms will move to a different location. It's not a difficult puzzle by any means. You just need to reach this area. So you move the platforms around like so, then run and jump along both of these walls. Oh, well, maybe I just messed up the timing. Let's try that again. Never mind. Maybe I missed something. Let's see. If I pull this lever, the platforms move to a different spot. Well, fuck. That took way too long. All because you have to be pixel perfect and make this jump as high as you can. I mean, seriously, you have to hit a target that's the size of a gnat's dick if you're gonna make this jump. With that out of the way, there are 2 chests to reward us. And thankfully in this version, these aren't booby-trapped with bats, at least on this difficulty. So we make our way over and we pull the last lever to open up a staircase to climb out of this tomb pyramid thing that we're in. I don't even know where we are or why we're here. At the top of the staircase, Ayane throws another kunai to tell us that Muramasa is looking for us at his shop in Tehran. All right, where the fuck is Ayane that she's able to throw these kunai in front of Ryu at every step of the way? So we make our way over to Muramasa's shop, and all of the soldiers in the area are now these big, muscly, mutated freaks.
What's up, bro? What, bro? What's up, bro? Take a swing, bro. Right here, bro.
We head into Muramasa's shop.
Welcome.
And god damn, that song is so groovy. Muramasa inspects Ryu's sword and tells him that there's a groove in the hilt, and if the dragon's eye jewel is placed there, it will make the sword take up its true power as the dragon sword that defeated the black dragons ages ago. Following a message from one of Ayane's kunai, we head over into this area with a waterfall. Ayane's note said that there's a secret entrance under the waterfall, and there are these 3 head statue things. I don't know if these things do anything. They definitely look like they do, but I couldn't figure out any way to interact with them. Under the waterfall is a cracked wall with a white glow. I haven't figured out how to open these yet. So now begins a frantic search for that famed heavy blunt object. I spent about 10 minutes looking around before I just gave up and decided to look it up online. Oh, it's Rachel's giant fuck off warhammer that she dropped when Doku bitch slapped her ass. Well, maybe it was obvious to you, but I spent 6 hours of in-game time between when she dropped the thing and when I got back to the monastery. And let's not forget that my life continued on in that span too. It had to have been at least a couple of days between when that happened and when I got back to the monastery. So I backtrack all the way back to the fucking monastery and grab the warhammer that's hiding in the corner of the room. Then I make my way back to the cracked wall to smash it and open up the path into the cavern. In the ice cavern, the fiends spawn, so I figure why not pull out the warhammer that Rachel uses. And holy shit, this thing moves slower than my granddad's dick. We're going back to the dragon sword. I don't know how Rachel is able to kill fiends with that thing. Maybe her whole gimmick is that she just distracts them with her tits so they don't notice the wind up. So the next thing we have to find and place on another thing is a pentagon shaped thing to put on this door. So we make our way up to this forge and we find a mold for a cog. In the room there's a pentagonal shield of vigor. So now we know what thing to place. We place the shield on the door and we head into the magma cavern. We find the left side of the stone tablet for the Twin Serpents Plaza statue and we collect some iron ore on the ground. We reach the magma lake and we head to the door when suddenly we fall into the lava and die. Heading back, we avoid the well-placed optical illusion that's placed by the developers. Fucking assholes. There's some more iron ore in front of the door. The door needs us to find 2 eyes in order to open it. We jump past these fiends using some slick movement tech. Damn, this game makes you feel like a badass. To reach the first eye to place in the door, we have to find a round object to place into this door. These fiends are so fucking tanky. I feel like I haven't even been upgrading my sword with how many hits these things take. If I can help it, anytime I fight these things, I just run away. We make our way onto the other side of the forge and we drop in all of the iron ore that we've been collecting to forge the cog in the other cavern. So now we have to backtrack all the way back to the fucking ice cavern. I don't want to do this. I'm tired. I just want to go to sleep. Pouring the iron from the forge melted some of the ice walls and it opened up some shortcuts. We grab the cog and in one of the newly opened rooms, we destroy the ice that's on the floor and we fall into the cavern below. In this cavern, there's this weird ass Yeti looking boss that shows up. This thing looks like it's missing some textures. I mean, come on, could they have made this thing look any more like a shaved cock with teeth? Other than those tentacle monsters, this is the easiest boss in the whole game. You really only have to worry about the ice from its ground pound attacks. It just slowly moves around the arena with some very slow attacks. Just run around in circles and then hit it with a couple of running slashes. Rinse and repeat. When it dies, it drops the Eye of Ice. Through the door, there's a set of walls to jump off of, and on the way up, there's a not so hidden chest. And there are only like 5 platforming challenges in this whole game, and they never wear out their welcome. To grab it, you just gotta hang from the ledge above and then drop down. Ryu's so strong from all of that training that he can catch himself on the next ledge. Placing the cog on the door, we're through to the Path of Flame. The Path of Flame is a fitting name. There are traps shooting flames. At the end of the path, the door shuts behind us and, fuck. Not these fucking worms again. The fire worm has the same attacks as the lightning worms, except the lightning bolts are replaced by fire rings. You dodge the rings by jumping through them. The first time I fight it, it gets me in a grab and kills me. Fuck. The second time, I wasn't playing around. I got the rhythm down and I sliced it up. It drops the Eye of Flame. So now we can open the door and get this show on the road. We place the eyes into the door and we enter the Hall of the Flame Dragon. On the pedestal is a statue of the devil, deity of immortality. Okay, so what are these things for? Like, why is this game so cryptic? Why can't you tell me anything about what is happening or why I'm doing it? The Flame Dragon climbs out of the lava and man, is he pissed. You can head up to this upper platform or you can stay down below. The boss's moveset will change based on where you are, and I prefer to just stay up on the top platform. He has this wave attack that I can't quite figure out how to dodge. He also breathes fire onto the platform, which can be dodged through or you can jump over it. And of course, he has a grab attack that you better fucking avoid. If you dodge the grab attack, he just sits still for you to combo on his head. He gets me a couple of times, but I finally figured it out. He gets me in a grab, but I mash X to break out, then I hit him with the art of the Inazuma to finish him off. Then you literally disrespect his ass by running along his dead body to get to the exit. On him, there's another Lives of the Thousand Gods, and through this door is the end of chapter 12. Only 4 more to go. Ninja Dog.
Fuck you too!
And now we're off to the Palace of Zarkon to confront the Emperor. To get out of the caverns, there's this sick section where you do a bunch of wall runs to climb our way out. God damn, this is so fucking badass. The exit leads us to the caves below the aqueducts. I gotta get out of here soon. I'm starting to have some Vietnam flashbacks. As we run through the caves, the game suddenly cuts to the Dark Disciple and Gamov in the Twin Serpents Plaza.
He's wandering around here somewhere, My Excellency. Who knows what he's up to?
And the Dark Dragon?
To put it simply, it seems that the Dark Dragon, now free of its seal, is gradually absorbing the chaos of the battlefield and becoming a truly evil blade. It is not surprising that we did not know its true capacity, as the ancients were so careful to conceal it. Now, it is a weapon of extraordinary power, the likes of which have never been seen throughout human history. Whoever possesses it...
Do I sense greed in your voice?
Of course not, Excellency.
Good. That is wise. You will be rewarded handsomely, I assure you.
So we finally escape the aqueduct and we're back in Tyron. And we get back to the Twin Serpents Plaza. Placing down the pieces of the stone tablet that we've been finding on our adventure, we're able to read out the message. It says, "Offer me up before the twin-headed serpent. Use me as a key to open the path. There is another who travels the paths formed in the bowels of the earth by dragon. These paths tie together faraway places, making them but a few steps away."
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The statue then activates and spins around and opens a portal between worlds. The portal takes us back to the Hayabusa village. Now we can open up this cracked wall. Jeez, they really fucking played the long con with this thing. It's been almost 11 hours. All of that just for a Jewel of the Demon Seal. I might as well use it right away. So I use it to upgrade the Art of the Ice Storm, which I regret now because I never fucking used it. We head back over to the graveyard and Ryu finds a grave with the dragon eye and places it into his sword to complete the true dragon sword. As Ryu gazes at his now glowing dragon sword, we see that the dark dragon blade is gaining power and it's floating in front of some giant creepy looking monster. With the true dragon sword now completed, we head up to the portal that opened up and we're teleported to a new place with another portal. This portal animation is hilarious to me. They totally just hired some intern to come up with something and got too lazy to change it. I can do it too. That portal takes us to the magma cavern with another portal that takes us to this Mayan pyramid and a big open field. There's definitely about to be a boss fight. I like where this is going. Oh! This character design for Alma is fucking creepy, man. These giant wings and the claws and the spider legs. Ew. I hate this boss fight. It's pretty much just the exact same fight as the first time that we fought Alma. She's got a couple of new moves. Instead of throwing pillars at you, she shoots these purple projectiles. The only real difference here is that she's got this new grab attack that really fucks you over. And you can't really hit her with the flying swallow because you'll just bounce off. Well, sometimes. The game seems to just decide whenever it wants to that you can and can't hit this flying swallow. So I'm gonna cut out all of my deaths and I'm just gonna show the time that I finally beat her. This was my 16th attempt. It turns out that the Art of the Inferno is the best weapon against her. It knocks her down and it gives you a chance to hit her. I end up using the True Dragon Sword's new Whirlwind Slash move to deal some quick damage, and the end of the combo can sometimes knock her back down for some more free hits. So I keep up with this strategy. And then I take her down with a final Art of the Inferno. Doku goes to kill Rachel to complete the awakening, but Alma jumps in front of his blade and sacrifices herself. In doing so, she explodes, then turns back into a human and Doku flies off.
This is not over.
We then smash our way into the pyramid. And this is a puzzle area where you have to collect these tablets and place them into a slot with their icon. There are some annoying ass fights with these insects to slow you down, and these are just more tedious than anything. Once all the tablets are placed, the pyramid rises up and the chapter ends. Immediately, we find the last of the statues, the serpent, deity of creation. Outside is a labyrinth where we find Doku walking on the other side of a gate, but we need a griffin key if we're going to be able to follow him. Making our way through the labyrinth, we find a portal that takes us to the Fiend Realm, and this devil-looking dude watches over us as we fight some fiends. Turns out that these things are called Flare Shadow Demons. I know, because I had to look it up. Completing the encounter rewards us with a chest containing the Griffin key and a portal back to where we came from. Using the Griffin key to open the gate, we climb the stairs and these ghost fish spawn. Every time these ghost fish swarm you, you're stuck in place and you have to mash the X button to escape. They move way too fast to hit with your combos and they respawn. The only way that I could figure out how to beat them is to use the Art of Fire wheels so they die whenever they reach me. But these things are fucking everywhere. Fuck. I hate these ghost fish. No, I mean it. I hate these ghost fish. I'm not fucking kidding around here. I hate these things. They're fucking horse shit. I'm kind of the dumbass here. Apparently, there's a kunai from Ayane that says to harness the fury of the flail in order to destroy the ghost fish. I didn't stop to read it. I just skipped right over it.
I've made a huge mistake.
Eventually, I get past the ghost fish and spot Doku taking a leisurely stroll through the labyrinth. You know, I don't even want to talk about this section in the game. It's just really awful. All that happens is you run through this labyrinth to find 2 keys to open a door. Along the way, you're swarmed by the fucking ghost fish and a couple new Black Edition versions of the Shadow Flame Fiends. Eventually, we find the door and will you fucking leave me alone? Through the door, we end up in an arena to fight the spirit of Doku. I shit on a lot of the fights in this game, but all of the Doku fights are probably the best fights in the entire game. They really do feel like 2 swordsmen engaged in battle, taking advantage of the openings that their opponents give them until only one remains. Spirit Doku has some new moves, but nothing about this fight feels unfair. He can reach out with his fist to grab you from a distance. He still has his life-stealing grab attack. He has some really long string combos that need to be dodged multiple times. He's got this big wind-up charge attack that's got a massive hitbox. And he's got some simple slash attacks that can break your block. Really, the only part of this fight that's bullshit is that it's almost impossible to enter the fight with full health with these fucking fish outside the door. After about 10 attempts, I figure out that the forward YY combo works pretty well at dealing quick damage to him, and it can avoid his attacks for the most part. Once I figured that out, he went down pretty quickly. As he dies, he curses Ryu. Chapter 15's intro tells us that Doku's hate continues to transform Ryu as he approaches the Imperial Palace. Are you fucking kidding me? So we need to make our way to the palace, and there's this cool moment crossing this skeletal bridge where the camera rotates upside down. I can't overstate how sick this really is. There's one palace above and another below, so that this little camera trick conveys we're entering the underworld. The core of the Imperial Palace is just a mass of giant skulls leading up to a portal, but of course we have to find a key with a rotted heart in order to open the door. This fucking game, man. On the way to find the key, we're swarmed by even more ghost fish. Reaching the door, we find a dead ninja on the other side who is holding a key with a rotted heart on it.
That was easy.
Reading his diary, we discover these ninjas are members of the Black Spider Clan. He died while attempting to bring the key to the leader of the Black Spider Clan. So at this point, you're supposed to go back to the core and open the door. But if you're not like me and you actually have, foresight, you might make your way over to Muramasa's shop to buy additional health pots and to make sure you're stocked up for what is obviously the last level of the game. I didn't think about it. So we head back to the door. Opening it up, Ayane watches over us and says that the true battle is only just beginning. And this is the game's cryptic ass way of telling you that you can't go back once you enter.
The true battle is only just beginning.
The first floor spawns a bunch of these fiends. I take them out with the art of the Inazuma and then split them off one-on-one. For the final fiend, I charge up an ultimate technique, and goddamn, this True Dragon Sword ultimate is sick. In the room, I place the Raptor, deity of sentiment, to open the door. Heading up to the next floor, there are more of these fucking ghost fish. They almost killed me, and if I did, my family probably would have had to send me to a facility. This floor has a bunch of insects mixed in with the fiends. It's not all that difficult. After I kill them, I place the wolf, deity of wisdom, to open the door. Blah blah, ghost fish, F word. This is getting old. Heading up and into the third floor. No, it can't hurt me. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. It can't hurt me. This floor has a bunch of the shadow fiends and one of the big black boys. This fight's pretty easy. I just use a couple ninpo and I clear out the room. Then I place the devil, deity of immortality. Ghost fish. Heading up to the door, I wonder what hellish nightmare awaits us. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. I was not ready for this. Nope, 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 nope. I am a ninja fighting demons in a room covered in spider webs with eggs under the ground and fetuses in the walls. These enemies are tanky enough to survive my ninpo, so I have to actually fight them. I get grabbed and I have to use my last healing elixir. On the pedestal, I place the serpent, deity of creation. Oh, thank God. There's no more nightmare fuel at the top of these stairs. I don't know if I could take whatever the devs think would be more terrifying than the fetus room. There's a chest with a great spirit elixir, a save point, and a portal. There's another pedestal with a picture of a demon and the inscription that says, "He who wishes to pass must offer proof of his divine acceptance." Ah, shit, it's about to go down. Heading through the portal, we're taken to the fiend realm with the demon watching over us from his throne again while we fight some more fiends. After those fiends are killed, he makes us portal to another arena where he spawns in one of those tentacle boss monsters. After a couple of combos, I figured out that cutting off a tentacle drops a blue healing essence every time. By absorbing the blue essence for a charged ultimate technique, we can do an insane amount of damage really quickly. Killing it spawns another portal, this one taking us back to the first arena with the fiends. This time, the demon is shooting fireballs at us from his throne while we're fighting. After killing all of the fiends, he teleports us again to another boss arena. Oh, and it's one of these things again. It lands a grab on me and it kills me. And it sends me back to the start of the boss rush. It ends up taking me a couple of tries just to get back to this point, but eventually I take it down. Then I step through the portal and the demon decides it's time to fight.
That's it. It's time for me to take you on personally.
I check my menu and luckily I was able to hold on to my one healing item through all of those fights, so I'm able to have full health for this fight. The demon hovers and keeps his distance while spawning in a couple of demons. I deal with the fiends, but I just can't hit the demon. Flying swallows seem to bounce right off of him, and I can't seem to land my jumping X attack. Eventually, he kills me with some fireballs, and it's back to the start of the entire boss rush. Okay, so after 22 deaths, I made it back to the demon for my 4th attempt against him. This time I actually land my jumping attacks. He's still hard as shit to hit, but I stick close to him. Whenever he spawns fiends, I channel the Inazuma Ninpo to one-shot them. The fight ends up being a constant dance of him flying away and me just jump attacking at him. I wouldn't say this is a fun fight. After he dies, a pedestal rises from the ground with the statue of the demon, deity of destruction. We head back to the portal that takes us back to the core and finally get to save the game. Then we place the demon statue on the pedestal and it opens up the door above. There's a hidden staircase that's only visible through the door. I just love how subliminal this game has gotten in these last few chapters. It's a refreshing sort of weird. We climb the spiral staircase, but before we reach the top, we're stopped as the staircase collapses. And I didn't notice this when I was playing, but first Ryu falls down, then the gravity changes and he's actually falling upward. Huh.
Luckily, my neck broke my fall.
So we're in a weird ass field with this creepy fucking mech statue thing staring down at us. The dark dragon blade floats above its head. The statue awakens, and as it does, the field of flowers dies out and the entire area becomes a hellscape. Ryu does some unexplained magic to create a floating platform. I don't understand anything in this game. This right here is the worst boss fight in the entire game. You control this floating platform that's moving all around. To move up and down, you have to hold the block button. The whole thing is just dodging her lasers and then floating in close to slash at her weak points. Destroying her weak points makes her lasers travel faster. I'd recommend focusing on her chest. It has more hit points than the shoulders, so you can delay making things harder for yourself. I end up beating her on my first try. After I beat her, she falls into the lava. And, oh great, another boss fight. And I have no healing items, and my health didn't refill.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
So of course I die immediately just trying to gauge its attacks. It took me 14 more tries to finally get back to the skull boss. And I think it's safe to say that I was beyond tilted at this point. Oh, and I barely have any health again. So the goal here is to destroy all the skulls, and the best way to do that is to shoot arrows at them. When it sends the skulls after you, you just gotta dodge out of the way, and you can use the fire wheels to help destroy some in the meantime. But unfortunately, I roll jump into a puddle of lava and I die. So now the tilt factor is cranked to 11. By this point, I've gotten pretty good at controlling the platform and dodging the lasers. I've even discovered that you can still move after destroying the second weak point, allowing you some free hits on the third during the animation. Again, with no healing items, I whip out the bow and I get to work on the skulls. I use the fire wheels when they rush at me, and I learned that the main skull will also try to fly right at you. So it takes me 4 more tries to get back to this motherfucker, and again, I get munched by the main skull. And at this point, I'm just starting to lose my fucking mind. It's been about 2 hours of this. It takes me another 5 tries to reach the boss, and this time I dodge the main skull. So, okay, we're starting to do well. We just gotta dodge its jump attack, and now I can wail on it. This run is going pretty well, but I run out of arrows and I end up dying again. So now I'm beyond tilted. I've entered into that state where you just start making stupid mistake after stupid mistake, and I'm constantly muttering under my breath, and my friends watching on Discord are starting to get a little concerned for my safety. Eventually, after another 6 attempts, we're finally back at the boss. I don't have very much health, but I am able to dodge out of the way the first time the main skull flies at me. I take some good pot shots at it when I can, and I remember to switch arrow types. It stays in the lava this time, so I can't swing my sword at it. I run out of arrows, then I run around with the fire wheels on to soak up as much damage as I can. Then it dawns on me. I have incendiary shuriken that I can throw. So I start chucking those motherfuckers like crazy, hoping to God it'll do enough damage. But I run out of those too, and I decide maybe I could get by with the windmill shuriken. One of the skulls hits me and I drop to 1 HP. By some fucking miracle, I avoid any damage from the other skulls by kicking one and slashing more. The boss jumps onto the platform and I throw everything I have at him. Somehow, I don't get hit, and I'm able to hit him enough to kill him. Oh, thank fucking God. So right off the bat, there's a save point, and I grabbed that immediately so that I don't lose my mind. Then I got distracted by my friends in Discord, and I turned off my Xbox, and I couldn't remember if I saved the game or not. So I spent a good 5 minutes in an actual sweaty panic as I turned on my Xbox, just hoping to God that I actually remembered to click the save button before I turned off my Xbox. Luckily, I hit the save button first. Then I start to climb the cliffs to reach the Dark Dragon Blade. Ryu takes the Dark Dragon Blade, and Rachel suddenly is hanging from a grappling hook in the middle of the mountain, volcano, hell. Where the fuck are we anyway? Weren't we in some underground palace and climbing the stairs, meaning that we were going further into the underworld? And then we fell into the sky, further down into the underworld, and we landed on a field that turned into this volcano hellscape. We make our way to Rachel, and Ryu jumps and grabs onto her. They ride the world's longest grappling hook to escape wherever they are as the volcano erupts beneath them. The blast sends the Dark Dragon Blade flying from Ryu's hand, and it ends up landing in front of the Dark Disciple and Gamov.
Ryu. I expected nothing less. However, the power of the Dark Dragon is wasted on you.
Don't you see? The Dark Dragon is now truly an evil blade. His Excellency, the Dark Disciple, has been waiting for this very moment.
What are you doing? Giving you your reward.
Your eternal reward.
Mirai.
Who could have seen that one coming?
The Dark Dragon is mine. No objections, I presume.
Was that supposed to be a reference to when they ask for objections during a wedding? How does that even apply here? You know, I bet Mirai says something way more badass in Japanese, but it gets lost in translation. At least they didn't hire IGN's translators.
I want to expand my circle and hire more people. Get licked until I can't get an erection.
Well, it's final boss time. This version of Mirai hits like a truck, and again, I have no healing items. My first time fighting him actually goes pretty well. I just hit him with the same tricks that I did the first time. You know, a little dodge roll here, a running sword slash there, rinse and repeat. But I'm only able to really knock him down to about half health before he kills me. And yeah, I think it's safe to say that I got a little tilted fighting Mirai. Thankfully, I waited until the next day to fight him after the last insane boss rush. He opens up the fights with throwing these shuriken that you have to dodge roll away from, and most of his attacks have these very small windows for you to be able to dodge. The hitbox on his grab is fucking bullshit. There's not a whole lot else to talk about for this fight. It's a pretty standard 1v1. And after I died about 25 times, I finally managed to get a good run in. He opens up with the shuriken and I dodge roll away, only getting a glancing blow from one of them. Then I dodge out of the way of his charge attack and I hit him with some sprinting slashes. Avoiding his combo, I pop Art of the Fire Wheels and I roll under his last attack. Then I get in a good 3-hit combo. I dodge away to get some distance, then immediately turn and get 2 running slashes. I then hit him with a couple more running slashes, and then I pop Fire Wheels to get the iframes to avoid his attack. I hit him with a couple more running slashes, and I got him down to about 40% HP. He then teleports up to the cliffside, and he casts this magical dragon to come attack me. I end up avoiding the attack by jumping off to the side. He does it again, but I avoid it. I then run in to get a couple more running slashes, but he's able to land a grab on me. After he casts the dragon again, I land some more running slashes and I pop Fire Wheels for the iframes. He hits me with one attack from his combo, and now I'm really flirting with disaster. I roll jump away to get some space, and then I'm able to land the final blow. Mirai dies and falls down this hole, which looks an awful lot like how Darth Maul died. Ryu then smashes the Dark Dragon Blade, and thankfully we get one final look at Rachel's ass. Ayane is admiring Ryu from afar, then she just turns and walks away. And what the hell did Ayane have to do with any of the story in this game? I'd play Binary Sunset here, but copyright's a bitch, and so is your mom. Ryu and Rachel lock eyes before Ryu turns away from her, and then he turns into a falcon and flies away. What? And in the post-credit scene, we see Ryu return to the Hayabusa graveyard to return the Dragon Eye to the grave. Whose grave again? Then Ryu jumps away and we see a falcon fly into the moon. And just like that, the game's over. What a weird ending. The game is so cryptic, but man is it awesome. I really enjoyed the challenge. Even though I played the game on the normal difficulty, it was still challenging enough to send me into a full spiral against bosses that soaked up multiple play sessions. I honestly have no idea what was going on with the story, but that's pretty much in line with the original Ninja Gaiden on the NES. It's not really much about the story anyway. It's mostly about just being a ninja and the pure violence and challenging action combat. There aren't many games that can check all those boxes off as well as Ninja Gaiden does. I love older games like this that are just full of action, they have linear stories, and have really polished gameplay mechanics. I mean, the game is so polished, I didn't experience a single bug in the 18 hours I played it. You can really feel that the developers cared about the product that they were putting out. The game only took me about 18 hours to beat, which is a length that I can get behind. It's short enough to be really fun and enjoyable experience, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's the perfect setup for replayability. If you've never played the Ninja Gaiden games, you're missing out. Go try out the Master Collection if you have a PC or Xbox and you've got Game Pass. If you're on PlayStation, go pick up a copy of the Master Collection for PS4 or for PS5. Or if you have an Xbox One or a Series console, go buy these games on the digital store and just play through them. You can start with Ninja Gaiden Black for only $10, and that's well worth the price of admission, and it's way better than most of the $70 trash that's being released these days. So if you made it this far, you're a legend and I love you. Hit that like button below to let me know if I should make more videos like this, and be sure to subscribe for more videos about games from the good old days. Maybe soon I'll dive into Ninja Gaiden 2. I still have my copy here from 2008 and it's been calling to me. It's kind of why I played Ninja Gaiden Black. But until then, maybe you could check out one of my other videos linked here.